Hey everybody, it is Grinn here. I'm sitting at PAX Prime 2014 with Loki Davison, the creative director of Wander. Well, I'll let you explain it.
So it's a non-combat MMO. You start off as a tree and you're exploring this rainforest. And at the beginning you wake up and you don't really know what you are and what's going on. But as you start to explore more, you're kind of trying to see what you are, and you realize you're actually a shapeshifter. And you can morph into other forms.
Interesting. So you said it's a non-combat MMO. How does that work out?
Well, so we're kind of trying to focus on the idea of things like collaborative exploration. So you're exploring this area and trying to, understand this narrative, and you find other people, and maybe they've found other places that you haven't. They'll say, hey, there's this amazing cave system that you can explore. This is how you get there. That kind of thing. But also there's a big kind of narrative focus, because as you explore, you actually realize that everybody in the whole world is a shapeshifter, and you're kind of trying to understand why. So if you meet other people, they might have found little snippets of the plot that you haven't, and you can try and work together to find out what the actual truth is, piece those pieces together.
Wow, very cool. That sounds like it would be a fun kind of collaborative effort between a bunch of different shape-shifting creatures to kind of figure out, like you said, why they're here and why they are shapeshifters. Excellent. So what can you tell us a little bit about the world that we're seeing here?
It's a tropical environment you can walk through. There's the above water areas, like this rainforest is meant to be as equally important and valid as the underwater areas, so the coral reef and the underwater cities. So we're meant to have detail in both and be able to explore both when you are the different forms.
Excellent.
So each form lets you explore the different environments in different ways.
Interesting. So you said there are shape-shifting creatures, and you start out as a tree.
Yeah.
What other kind of creatures are there?
So you can turn into a griffin, in which case you can fly and explore some of the floating islands and things like that. You can transform into this sea creature. It's kind of an amphibian, looks a bit like an iguana or something, but bigger. And that one you can explore the underwater areas, obviously, and walk very poorly on land with it. And then there's this humanoid, kind of Star Trek alien called a Hera, which is kind of our collaborative form. So the point of that form is that it works well with other things. So you can, there's a Hera player and a Griffin player, the Hera player can ride the Griffin player.
Oh, neat. I like that, yeah. Yeah, so they kind of work together as different types of creatures. Do they each have different abilities? Can you elaborate a little bit on the abilities of the other creatures?
Yeah, I mean, apart from their basic mechanic of being able to swim or fly or breathe underwater or not, there's also some additional things that they can find along the way. For instance, the Orin, which is the tree character that you start off as, eventually you can find these fireflies. And with the fireflies, to begin with, you can see at night then. You're the only land-based character that can that sees easily at night. But you can also use them to communicate with, because by default we've only got proximity-based voice chat.
Ah, okay, I like that. I actually really like that.
So there's no global text chat. But the fireflies, you can actually use them to gesture with. So on the PlayStation 4, you use the touchpad and draw patterns, and then your fireflies follow those patterns.
Very interesting.
So yeah, you can actually communicate over much further distances, especially at night when you're an Orin.
I really like that. Yeah, that's a just completely different way of looking at communication, and I really like that approach. How does progress work? You say it's an MMO in the sense that there are a bunch of people playing it. How does progress work in a game like this?
I'd say progress is a bit of a confusing one, because I don't like to think of the different forms that you unlock really as better or worse or levels. Like the Orin is better at night, the tree form. The Griffin is able to fly. That they're not better or worse. They're able to do different things and explore differently. So really, I think that the progress in this is understanding things about the world. But the goal isn't just to understand the world. Kind of the core goal is really to be relaxed and happy and contented. The game's meant to be like the opposite of an action game, kind of soothing and calming.
Soothing, explorative, just kind of like at your own pace. I really like that.
Yeah, so I think if you come out feeling like you're in a beautiful rainforest and you're happy and contented, that's mission successful for us.
Excellent. So as you said, they're shapeshifters. How does that work exactly? Can you just shift at will, or do you have to actually, charge that up? How's that work?
So to begin with, you don't know about the other forms, so it's only when you sort of learn about them, you find this unlock stone, and that lets you transform into that form.
Oh, okay.
So you can transform kind of for free at an unlock stone. Otherwise, you find these purple flowers around the world that you can consume to transform anywhere.
Interesting. So would you like save those up and use them at the right time? Or is there, I mean, this game doesn't seem like there is like a right time. It's like if you feel like you want to go and fly off to an island, you probably want to pick up those flowers and use it to shapeshift into a griffin and fly off to the island.
Exactly, yeah. And and that kind of allows you to choose a bit when you want to do them. But they're not really, it's not really like a resource. It's not like, oh, I've got lots of flowers that much. It's more, okay, you can do these things now.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So what platforms are we looking at?
At the moment, we're demoing it right now on PlayStation 4. Okay. But we're going to be coming to PC as well.
Excellent. And what engine? It's very pretty. What engine are we working with here?
So this is using CryEngine.
CryEngine, very nice. Good work.
All these vegetation, all this landscape you're seeing is based on the northeastern part of Australia. So we've really tried to model, a particular rainforest and try to get it all looking authentic.
It's very nice. Yeah, I like that.
There's a lot of kind of fantasy often looks like Western Europe.
Right. Yeah.
And we kind of wanted to have kind of a game that's got these kind of elements, but looks more like a tropical environment where you can actually, it's more like something a bit less European and a bit different.
Gotcha. It looks very pretty. I think you captured that. I've never been to Australia personally, but you definitely captured that jungle, dense rainforest feel.
Yeah. We put a huge amount of effort into sound design as well because we really wanted to have that kind of soothing, authentic feel to the sound design.
Immersiveness in that sense.
Yeah, and a part of that is that we went out and recorded all these different birds everywhere, all over the place. We just went and hunted for, hunted's the wrong word. We went and recorded all these different birds all over the rainforest. Yeah. And we also have this kind of thing with diegetic music. So music, we don't have a boombox magically on your shoulder. Right. We have objects in the world that make music.
Oh, excellent.
That you find.
Okay,
and they give you hints because they're kind of important locations. So the unlocks are voiced by different opera singers and they sing to you. So they give you hints about where they are in the world and you can find these unlocks and then,
It seems like there's a lot to explore, a lot to, figure out. Just you wander about and you just, you learn more about your environment. Now, one thing I did want to touch on, you said something about the culture. Yeah. In this world. So tell us just a little bit about that.
So there's a lot of different cultures in the world, and they all explain things differently. So imagine you go back in time 1,000 years, and you ask, so what is thunder? To 3 different groups or something. You ask it to Scandinavians and Japanese and Australians. They'll all say totally different things.
Absolutely, yeah.
In this game, in the different cultures of Wander, explain why they are shapeshifters in totally different ways.
That's a very interesting approach. It kind of, opens it up. I really like that aspect. It's very good.
Yeah.
Oh, here we are flying.
Yeah. So, and you notice we just use motion control to fly. So on the PlayStation 4, we've got this kind of flight mechanics. At the moment, this is early days for the flight mechanics.
Of course, yes.
But I really want to make them feel like actual flight. I used to be a paraglider pilot, so I have this kind of idea of what gliding flight should feel like. And because the Griffin is kind of a bird of prey, right? We've looked into modeling all the wind dynamics of the world, so you'll have thermals and bridge lift and all these kind of things.
That's very cool, yeah.
So you'll actually, instead of just flying in a straight line, some MMO kind of style.
Right. You're actually affected by certain things.
And you'll see you can also shapeshift back to the Orin as well.
Excellent.
But yeah, that flight mechanic should be kind of actually dynamic, finding thermals, gliding.
Oh, very cool.
And depending on weather as well.
Excellent.
We'll have weather in the world, storms.
Cool. Well, I appreciate your time, Loki. Looks like you guys have a great game going here. And when's a release date we can look forward to?
So probably looking at around February.
February. All right. Well, I appreciate your time. And I can't wait to wander. Thanks a lot.
Great to chat. Thanks.
Yes.